Hello everyone, we are back with some more Kerbal Space Program. We're going to start our day off by launching the mission dot. This rocket is specifically designed solely for the use of this mission. It is loaded, ready, and what we're going to do is come out here, say target the moon. We're going to do oh, I guess there's an update for this for auto approaches and landings. That is neat. I will look at that in a bit. We will prepare for a launch. Now, the interesting thing is, this is a single stage to orbit. Now, I do know that, hey, look, I've got multiple stages, but realistically speaking, I don't need this stage, and I technically don't need these stages. The reason I have them staged is simply for the deorbit. And with the amount of fuel I have, theoretically speaking, I might be fine. However, I won't know until we are actually in a proper orbit. So, we're going to take a peek. Hopefully this is enough. If not, I might be taking it back to the drawing board. Either tossing some secondary rockets on it, or just throwing some extra fuel tanks. This might actually be... yeah, this might just not make it. But we'll see. We intend to do a flyby of the moon. Okay, it's not a perfect orbit, but it does get us there. Now, we're gonna minimize our contracts for a second because we do want to make sure that we have our maneuver planner, because what we want to do is a double transfer. Now we want to make sure that we are doing not bother planning the insertion burn. And the funny thing is, that is absolutely amazing in terms of what it's done. But what we want to do is come over here. All this needs to be 0.1. And the reason we are doing this is the altitude we need to match. Come on. 50 to 60. Okay. 0.01. There we go. And now if we do this, while it will kick us up quite a bit, actually. Let me see, if I go here, that's gonna kick us that way. Okay, that should be good enough. It is gonna put us in a bit of a rough spot, but I believe we can pull it off. The other thing I want to do is clear off this. We have two missions actually. Transmit the data from the orbital and get this guy right here in a suborbital trajectory. Now, if I have to crash it into the moon in order to pull it off, I will. It is quite a bit of an expensive crash, but we do what we gotta. Warp there. Now we do want to come here and switch us over. Set up master frequency to 200. Update us, close. And then we can close that out. And now we have been captured. And at least theoretically speaking. You're looking here. Okay. Get moving. See if we are close enough to be listed as suborbital at this point. If not, okay. Retrograde burn is a shame, but boom, data transmission. And we do want to be careful because, if I'm not mistaken, our periops is technically lower, so we want to wait until we are a little above it. Only reason for that wait until we go up a little bit. We're in the right altitude. We're in the right location. And we've got 7 seconds of fuel left. I do not believe we have enough to get back. And maneuver. We do technically have 600. Problem is, Okay. Execute the next node. This is going to be a game of extreme precision. It is nice to know that we've completed both contracts. There's 100,000, and there's 350,000. We're coming in low and hot. Waiting. Alignment adjustment, and engine fire. Excess burn off. And then we're gonna slowly do a time increase. Now the reason we're doing a time increase is as we pop out of here, according to this, if I were to say add a maneuver node and try to bring us down, would be cutting it fairly close actually. But turns out we can pull it off. So what we're gonna do is tell it to execute the next node. Surprisingly, we have enough delta V for this. Also very funny that we are going out and around with the reconnect on it. But yeah, it was probably the first time I built a rocket with just about the exact amount of delta V needed. Normally, I'm over-engineering this stuff to an obscene degree. Apps is now right there. Now what we want to do is warp here. Urban spin below us. Go, hey, get us in retrograde. Now, I don't believe there is a way I can force it to land at the center. But what I can do is skim the atmosphere and use the atmospheric skimming to help bring us lower and lower into the atmosphere. Now, one of the things I can do is burn out our fuel. That's going to help keep us from getting pulled back up into the moon's orbit. Now, if I tell you I want you to face that way, that should help us slow down quite substantially. Right. The transmitting all this data. Actually surprised I have an electric charge left after this. Now what I should have done was pop that extra fuel way up at the top, but theoretically speaking, I can kind of just do this. Not perfect, but it will get it down eventually. Which is actually kind of funny because I do need to do a time warp for this, so it's not really a waste. Like, we're on year 3, which is surprising. Like, not really, but really. Not perfect, but drop down just a little bit every time. And one of the things I think I'm gonna do, because this is moving substantially fast, is I could send the rocket up to like, nudge it down. I wonder if I do force roll. I have to start using that. Boom. And again, not perfect, but is dropping down. It does kind of irk me that I wasted the fuel here when I know better. I should have used it up here to drop myself lower into the atmosphere for a more aggressive approach. Rename marker as debris, hit accept. And we are going back to the Space Center. I could probably do that off camera. All it is sitting there and watching it loop back and forth, back and forth. Now, one of the things I've wanted to do, but haven't really had a good idea on doing, is I want to build a very heavy communication satellite. And I'm talking Very heavy. We need to go to structural. Part of me was thinking of using service modules, but YouTube's kind of interesting, but we need something like that. So what we're gonna do They don't want to give me just normal. Let me remember to do the smart thing. Part, auto strut to the root, rigid detachment. Oh, that's cool. We could do planar, triangle, square. We will do square. Command and control. Do that. Rigid, root, on, and then let's look at our communication systems. Now, one of the things that a lot of people notice is the antennas have, come on, a thing that says, you know, they're direct antenna, stacking capable 4. Now, if we come down here to relays, ooh, reflect part head. Cool. Let me see. Let me see if I can find one that does. Oh, we did get proper reflector dishes. That is insane. That's very neat. Question is, what can I do with this? This is one of the ones that's combinable. But no, we want ones that specifically state that they do feed effectiveness. So we do that. We render the path. Hypothetically, if I take this and go boom, neat. Okay. So what we're gonna do is come here, go there, remove these. Extend it. Now the question is, if I rotate it, this is gonna give different things. So hypothetically, at that, oh, could I just theoretically go, hey, boom, boom, render all paths. This could be a thing. The question then becomes, how am I going to be building interesting fashion, we'll say. And I think what I'm going to do is take this, that, take that, 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 it's weird. However, this does mean that again, I don't know why they're doing that, but hey. So here's a thing. Hypothetically, if I go into actions, select view, custom group one, toggle, Toggle. Toggle. Like, I could put these on a system automation. Toggle. Toggle. Then 2 is going to be our extend and extend, whereas 3 is going to be retract and retract. Then the next thing I want to do find something with a absurd amount of capabilities and just push it to the limit. And that might be it. What on earth is this thing? If I extend that, to that, what's it look like retracted? Looks like it is inside there, so not great, but something that can technically be worked on. Aesthetically, extend that, boom, retract. Action group 1. Toggle. This thing is an actual nightmare. Part of me says I should add that second reaction wheel, but another part of me says you are insane, do not do that. The fact that that holds more kind of makes me feel like those should just be battery banks. But so far I don't think anything's adding that much in terms of what's it called? In terms of heat. Ooh, I just realized that this might not work. Not for there. Extend. Yeah, that'll be quite useful. We're gonna put another one there. Put the one there. Now, No, we're not going to put another one there. We're going to take this, go there, add that there. Then we're going to take another one of these. And what we want to do is reduce them until they're no longer hitting, which is basically that. Retract, retract, extend, and that immediately does not work. Good to know. Correct. You know what? These should be fine. I do like the idea of this, is you can build like micro units. Whole thing is an absolute monster. So, go to structural. Go here. We're gonna pretend like it doesn't go through the entire rocket to do this. Retract. 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 Yeah, this is bad. Not in a, oh, it's, you know, the worst design ever kind of way, but more in a, this is definitely not something I would want to physically be on or near or anything of that nature. This just seems like a recipe for terrible, terrible things to happen to it. Thankfully, we aren't the ones going, oh, I need bigger. I forgot this is... Okay. That is that. This whole thing is expensive. It is also weighing in at about 10 tons. That is actually not as bad as I was afraid of. I was anticipating this thing screaming at me that it's like 3 bazillion tons. Okay, so what I want to do, and it's the thing that we're probably going to do, is we are going to throw a normal, albeit not that large, normal tank on there. with our tiny little, very effective rocket motor. Actually reminds me, this is pushing a 414 in space. Technically, I can get a squeeze. I can squeeze quite a bit more out, but then the vacuum is 55 kilonewtons in space. Yeah, so technically this is beating it out. The thrust, like the values, a little different, not a lot. But that's not actually what we're trying to do. What we are trying to do, I believe it's under structural, if I'm not mistaken. Grab these radial adapters. And we're gonna build something a little bit crazy. Oop, don't want to grab the adapter. Do that. We're gonna toss a nice engine on it. I do find it interesting we have a lot of nuclear powered stuff. Also, why is it considered a maneuvering cluster? Whatever. Oh, because it's monopropellant. We do this. We connect to that. Now, it looks like it belongs. Which I find funny, because this is going to have so much delta V when it's in orbit. Oh. Also does not generate that much heat. That is not that bad. Okay. Now, here is the part that we need to be more careful with, because we are absolutely going to get kicked in the teeth for this. So there. There. We need this to be on, I believe, long. Can I make it any longer? Maybe not. I might need to bring that engine back just a little bit. Which is fine. It's not really like it's an emergency burn kind of engine. It's not really there to do anything. It's just there to make it good. There to make it so that everything fits. So when I go like that, while those stick out, they're not that bad. Which reminds me, I can take this, go here, and gently move them in. Now, they don't stick out, and they hold up quite well. Generate power, generate a whole bunch of everything else. Up. This is going to be our medium sat relay. Come on, Brent. There we go. Also, I need to figure out how to speak. Because apparently my brain is not doing that. Okay. Assembly. Heavy lift. Yep. Toss it on there. Go boom, boom. And then we come back to our normal assembly. Go for the command. Nice double command unit on there. Come back down. And there we go. Is it perfect? No. However, it should, especially at that price, be able to get us quite the extension on our relay network. Now, the one thing I will be doing is making a save, basically like a hard save, before we put this up. It's medium relay Mark 1. Go to open. I enjoy it. This contains locked or invalid parts, which doesn't make sense because I just did it. Wait, that one. Okay. Let's put it on the... let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, okay. Engines still have enough thrust to get it up and away. Cannot support over 200, and we are very over. Well, seeing as we can't launch right now, might be able to look at either some missions, or I need to make sure I right click, not left click. Jumping out and then back in, not the greatest. And then out again. Okay, so we do need to get that upgraded. Check out mission control to see if we have anything that's gonna get us a payday of epic proportion. Moon rescues are one thing. Attach parts, another. Ooh. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a nice payday, but it should be going all the way out there. Also, looks like a bunch of my missions just expired and didn't come back, so... Hmm. Wait a second. A lot of these are interesting, but the pay is not good. Research bodies only costs money. Climates. Study on carbon. Hmm. Yeah. We really missed out on a bunch of missions because we zipped forward. Okay. Let's go pick them up out of the orbit. Let's see what their orbit looks like. We could probably get away with something relatively small. Turn off those. Don't need the relays. Probes. Okay, his capsule right here. Looking at a apoapse and a periapse that are very low, but very, very easy to achieve. So go here, since we've already saved our one mission, we are going to do a clean load. Come here. We're going to actually start with the light lifter. This is something a lot of people haven't seen in a little while. Is a bit of a, you know, little specialty thing. One thing I want to check. These are the hydrogen engines. If I check, I need to make sure that I am enabling the cooling. All of these. The reason for that Okay. Enable. I guess we will disable it on the asparagus of it, just because they should theoretically burn out before it's a issue. However, one of the things we do want to add is that, along with that. There's a separator on top of it. The other thing we're going to do very careful because this is coming up on the part limit. What I need to do is come here, go, boom, look, cross the antenna there. Custom exib there. Panels. Put them there. I'm gonna take, oh. That, take that. That should be enough to keep these under control for re-entry handling. Back of it. Grab our parachutes. Boom. Boom. Now, of course, says, hey, this is all wonky, like having to individually drag the engines down to their assigned area. Cool, that's fine. I'm gonna let that just be as it will. Take a heat shield. Gotta remember, need our separation. Heat shield. Our crew pod. Parachute. Backups. And masters. And we come all the way to the top to make sure that all the extra stuff I've added ends up in the right. The answer is no. Okay, in theory, I think the staging is correct. In practice, I am unsure. Well, the catcher. And we're not going to worry about saving it because we'll just build these as necessary. It's got a lot of Delta V built in, especially for the particular payload we're working with. But this should be fine. This should be quite the experience. Set that as target. Now, sent guidance, 80, and if I'm not mistaken, we need to launch like yesterday. So engage the autopilot, send it up, and then we will adjust in orbit. Where is this? That's quite odd. That is very odd. What do you... I really don't get where this thinks it's going. Revert to launch. Remind me. Okay. Did not accidentally load a Kerbin. That would do it. No sass. I'm sitting there wondering, oh, is this gonna go well? Turns out the answer is no. Hey, someone just mentioned we have Killer Rabbit watching. Rabbit, you there? That's I guess acceptable. Hmm. I don't like that. I didn't like that though. That's why I was doing that way. Okay. Why not? That definitely doesn't belong, but let's see if it explodes. Granted, I know for a fact the first stage will explode. I don't know why. It was an issue with when I um not generated, when I built the thing, I messed something up in this stage, fixed it for every other stage, and then proceeded to just apparently not have an issue with it. No idea why. We'll give it one more chance to see if it launches properly, or if it just takes off into a random direction. Oh, no. Looks like it's doing proper now. Wait for the explosion because, yep. No idea why. The first one always explodes. Hmm. Yeah, this is quite neat. Thankfully, these are small enough that the force from this ejection tends to clear them of the rocket, unlike with the heavy lift, which require secondary little motors to actually force them away. Hmm. So far, so good. Okay, we are probably going to manually cut this stage ourselves. Just because the stage is going to last longer than the periapse is going to stay below return trajectories, so hopefully they will move off in ways that will get them returned. Granted, I did launch them in such a very eclectic orbit that they may actually, yeah, they may have to be considered forced returned simply by virtue of what they are. But they would have just wasted fuel while sitting here, so. That has the target. Thank you. Add the maneuver node. Maneuver node. Set this. Target again. Set target again. This off the planet. That's probably what's causing the issue. Again. Okay. We're doing maneuver node controls from here because this is getting very ridiculous. Four, three, one, one, zero, and then one more good measure. Then we want to take and slow ourselves down. You know what? Forget it. Execute the node. As far as I can tell, we're going to be doing this for quite a bit. So that's what you do. Now we need to add quite a bit. I don't think add that much, but oh yeah, hey, yeah, execute this node just for now. Port to node execution, we want to reduce it. Now execute. And the reason for that is by reducing it, we can keep better eyes on the point of intersect. In essence, it slows us down just enough that we might see. Here's the funny thing, they're going to be below us. So what we do is we come in here, add a new maneuver, bring gap wraps down. Bring our app down just a little bit. And by bringing our app down, boom. Oh, there's to realize that we don't have the space to do it. Come on. There we go. Execute the node. Give it the time it needs. If the markers were behaving themselves, we would actually be able to get quite a few things going, and we would have been able to perform the intersection just a little bit better. Granted, if I did it myself, I would also have been able to see it better. So it is my fault. Now, what I do, come here, go, hey, base retrograde. A little separation, but we want to tell this guy, hey, continue to try and face retrograde. We need you to get out of the area. Set up antenna 100. Hit update, hit close. Boom. Now, have quite a bit of stuff, but I now have one engine to work with that I can do a thrust limit on. We're going to wait until we are close to our apoapse. Back where we got it from. A little bit. A little bit of thrust, and that's all that needed. Target. Be prepared to kill our relative to target. Okay, we have 30 seconds. We have an eclipse, which, you know, nothing says, hey, let's rescue these people like an eclipse. Now, they should be on the outside of us. They should be relatively close. Nice and slowly. Nice and slowly. Okay. Now aim at the target. Carefully. Nice little park. Come here. Buddy, let's hope you have an EVA pack. Good. Now, I have no idea why it just decided to do that, but as long as it doesn't take off. Grab. Board. EVA report. EVA report. Cool. Reboard it. Orbit retrograde. Now. Is... Oh, let me give the engine back all of its power because we actually should be good. Actually, let me check. Pick position target. Huh. Landing guidance. Cool. The KSP pad. Autopilot. Land at target. KSP pad. At target. Alt V needed. We have more than enough. Let's see if this actually works. Time to land 8 minutes. How do you intend on pulling this off? Because I'm actually... Ooh, hold on. Abort auto land. Prograde because... Have to do that, otherwise we are going to do an orbital skim and be completely in a bad place, so burn nice and vertically. Tell you aim prograde, because again, we almost did a very hard landing, and I want to see how this works. Warp there. We just want to add a little bit of speed, not much. Just want to make sure we are in orbit. Set that, land at the target. Time warp. Cool. when you're over a desert airfield, you want to be right there. Cool. That's really neat. Now, okay, let's see if this works. Suicide burn countdown. So we are 4 minutes from impact. How well this goes. I kind of like this new tool. It's a little interesting. Cool. That target so that we can actually see a little bit of everything. No idea if this is going to survive attempting this, but hey, we'll find out. Because I know I have enough fuel to actually slow this down into a, like, stalled deorbit. Hmm. Well, no one can say it's not pretty. Granted, the solar panels are screaming. And not for good reasons. They are screaming because they are on fire, like quite literally. I'll be honest. If I had solar panels that could survive this level of re-entry heat, I would dub them nearly indestructible for planetary use, because that is insane. Granted, they are gonna start popping. Well, they were expensive, but was kind of what it is. You want to see an EVA report not happening at this speed. So we're close, but my thing is, I think we're gonna undershoot. Yeah. Okay. Avoid that particular set of parachutes. Going to pop that off. Everything kind of just take care of itself. I'm really screaming down there. It's weird because it's got enough parachutes, it shouldn't have a problem. Let me make sure I don't time warp because then it will have a problem. Oh, there they go. It's kind of cool. This is some of the most relaxing parts of it. It's just gently watching as we flutter down from orbit. Starving. You're fine. Waiting to see those parachutes go out, and then I can play with time warp. Because as of right now, so long as those parachutes are deployed, it is not on the ground. I do enjoy you can see basically all of this. The resource overlay. Oh, that's the moon. That would explain it. Celestial body. I do enjoy we can now do Duna. Yeah, this one scares me. Let's not do that. Kerbin, map type, biomes. That's how you get the pretty ones. Yeah. I do need to look at the visual high res and the resource high res. Um, well, now that we are almost doo doo doo. Oh, there's our other parts. See, one of my favorite things about the parachutes and stuff is you can set up a whole network of things that you just parachute down to planets. Duna is going to be the same way. We're going to use a handful of parachutes to do some small time things. Nothing too crazy, but that'll probably be for next Monday's stream. We're gonna maybe launch, I don't know, just a surface probe to Duna. Ooh, new engineer, cool. Wish that's how it worked. You know, you just randomly get stuck in orbit, someone saves you, and hey, you're an astronaut now. You're going on more space missions. You know. These guys. Because they are never going to come back down. His capsule doesn't launch a rocket to it. That guy. Yeah, we will actually pull him back. This. Free. I'm gonna have to look at it and actually figure out what it is. Is there a way for me to close the little contract window? That is interesting. Here's a question. If I go here and then back to space dust. Unknown. I do need to figure out how to do something with all this. It's very interesting, but I have no idea what you do with it. And it's low enough down that it technically causes its own issues. And since we're talking about droppable research canisters, take a pic. peak. Ugh. That is a fuel tank. Fuel tank, fuel tank, fuel tank. Don't save. Actually, in fact, we're so not gonna save. We're gonna start fresh. Inline cockpit. Do that. We're immediately going to look at oh, that's funny. It's like a proper service bay. But no, we're gonna look at this, but we're gonna turn it upside down. We're gonna make a bomber. Granted, we are not dropping bombs, we will be dropping scientific equipment. Mostly things to test to see if it actually behaves. Now, for this particular experiment, I'm not going to make it too crazy of a system, just because, given what I do know about it, I want it to behave itself. Probably the best way to describe it. Okay, this is liquid fuel. This needs to be set to liquid fuel. This can do 800, that can do 800. That is fine. Our jet engines. That is insane. That is massive. Okay. You want to do rigid route, rigid route, rigid. Now we will build some wings for this. Now, from what we saw, this doesn't really need wings. Don't get me wrong. The aircraft that I'm designing does need wings, but it doesn't need it in the same way one might normally expect, because It is very, very well set up. At least it is very well set up. That's another massive wing concept that we don't need. It is very well set up with the design. I go from here. There. Which, if I'm gonna do, I need to make sure I'm doing this right, so... grab this. That. That. And then we're gonna make one more copy of it. Because we do want relatively large wings for what we are basically building as a bomber. Rigid root. Root, rigid, rigid, root. Now, that's a problem. So we need to bring it back a little bit. Now, although having the load up a little higher will move that, we do not want to actually have a insane load differential. And boom, boom. Action group 1, toggle. I don't like that it says partial and just won't let me do it, so I'll have to do a toggle on that. And then for now, we're gonna open this up. Gonna grab a coupling. Nice little coupling here. Come on. Boom. Boom, boom. That's a nice little think. Technically. Let's do that. Grab that. Boom. Boom. Action group. That. Custom. Decouple. We call it the Psi prop. Mark 1. Close the bay doors. Okay, let's open the bay doors, just because I really don't like the fact that they are visible in that manner. Okay. Okay, so I really don't have a choice. So we're gonna go here, close the doors, save that, add our emergency parachutes. And then we also need air brakes, because if I've learned anything, it's these things move really fast. Save, launch. Oh yeah. For what I'm doing, this is silly. But I'm just... Apparently the plane likes to twerk. I'm actually just trying to do a test on the way the cargo hold is handling something. So either it's going to work fabulously, or it won't, because I forgot to actually add air intakes onto the thing. So I have to move the air brakes anyway. And welcome back. You seem to be joining us just as we're getting ready to wrap up, but don't worry, I will stay for just long enough for you to watch this whole thing implode, because that seems to be what this aircraft just wants to do. I wanted to do a Duna mission, but I don't know if you heard the alarm go off. Wanted to do a Duna mission, but unfortunately, it just, oh, that's weird. Normally it lets me know when people are in. Well, I do apologize that I didn't notice sooner. For some reason, the thing I use for keeping track of that it very often doesn't tell me that I have people. No idea why. Okay, that looks ugly as sin. I don't really have stuff that works better, so what we're gonna do is take it And maybe bury it? Honestly, I have no idea how I want this to look. Okay. Function over form at this point. So what do you think? Because I feel like this might torque its way off the runway before it takes off. Okay, that works. Let's see if... Haha! Okay. So the detonation works. But yeah, cool. Woohoo! Okay, that's more than enough to knock them out. Let's see how far this will go, because I think it should cut out at about 10 kilometers, yeah. I'm very surprised it let me do that without just completely going insane. So, we want to do... Really don't think this is gonna work. But... If I do that, is it gonna just try to do... Who knows? Kinda wanna see what the auto approach and auto land is. Initial approach point. Target speed. Cool. Also, that's the other thing I really like about this is, as you can see, the engine's off, and while the speed is dropping pretty dramatically, it's not really falling out of the sky that bad. let's take a peek, see what it thinks. And my problem is I have no idea what the glide speed on this thing is. So telling it that it has an approach speed of 80 meters per second with a touchdown speed of 60 could just mean this thing's gonna drop out of the sky. Um, 200? With a touchdown speed of 150. Just for safety's sake. It's looking like it's wobbling just a wee bit. Yeah, see? Let's see, that is pulling in between 60 and 66. Okay, so it's not actually affecting it that bad. Proceeding to a final approach. Let's see how badly this goes. Okay. We're gonna tell it to abort, and I'm going to kind of try to pull it into a landing formation. Again, looks like the auto land just too aggressive, I guess. Okay, this isn't gonna be great, but good work. Okay, we'll just force the hardland. Oop. Okay, since the wheels are upset, we're going to recover it, and we're going to call it a night, everyone. Thank you for coming out and watching. Hope you all have a good night. And take it easy.